3 months ago, I planted what remains of this cover crop out here in this field. And it started out because a year and a half ago, I planted some purple top turnips in this pasture, and in the process,
I was able to graze it with pigs. So then I decided to plant more this year.
This past year, I planted some purple top turnips, dwarf Essex rape, cereal rye, Austrian winter peas, a little bit of clover, and some other forage crops as well. 2 weeks ago, I started grazing it. I'm Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, and I'm on a mission to grow more of our livestock feed on our farm while also improving the soil health. In this video, I want to share with you the results of what I learned while grazing this 4/10 of an acre paddock, how much feed we got out of it, how much it helped our breeding pigs. I started strip grazing a little section over here and grazed it for about 2.5 days, and the pigs started off eating the cereal rye, and then they went on to the brassicas. I gave them another section every 3 days or so until finally I gave them this last section that you can see still standing behind me. It's about 1/3 of the field, and what's left standing are the purple top turnips and the daikon radishes. The reason I gave them such a larger section on this back side is I wanted to see what the pigs would graze first. Over the last 5 days now, they've been grazing it, and it's very clear to see what their grazing preferences are. When you put livestock in a smaller grazing size paddock, they will eat their preferred forages, but because they're only eating a day or two's worth of feed, it's kind of hard to tell which ones they prefer. When they went into the first paddock, the thing they preferred the most was the cereal rye. But what that doesn't take into account is sometimes animals, much like people, learn that they like something much better than they originally thought they did. Likewise, I don't know if the pigs just didn't realize they liked the Austrian winter peas, or if they just didn't have enough of them, or what. But the first thing, very clearly, the first thing they ate over the first couple days were the Austrian winter peas. After that, they start eating the greens of the daikon radishes and purple top turnips along with the cereal rye. Second, if they were just eating an all-grain diet, these 7 breeder pigs would currently be consuming about 35 or 40 pounds of a whole grain ration per day. That grain ration cost me about 23 to 25 cents per pound, and that doesn't even count getting it to the farm and transferred and handled. So that's roughly $8 or $9 per day in savings that I've saved while grazing these pigs. On a smaller scale, it may not be that big of a deal. What you'll find is that eventually the pigs enjoy the turnips and the radishes. The pigs seem to enjoy the radish more than they do the turnips, but they will eat the turnips as well. And sows, when they're in their gestation cycle, they really don't need too much concentrated feed. The thing about radishes and turnips is that they help fill the sows' empty bellies rather than just giving them their 4, 5, 6 pounds of grain per day. The turnips help fill their bellies. It helps ease the hunger pains, and to me, it seems like a much better option for the pigs. If you look carefully, you can still see a lot of the turnips on the ground. Now, the pigs, surprisingly enough, have eaten most of the radishes. They don't eat many of the turnips, but the turnips do help fill their bellies. The greens, the Austrian winter peas, even the cereal rye, and also the brassicas do provide a good bit of protein to help the pigs' nutrition, so they do get more nutrition in those greens. The line that you see here, you can clearly see where I had the electric fence running. It was just one single strand of polywire. It kept the pigs in really well. There's still a lot of purple top turnip greens for the pigs to eat. There are a few radishes, though it looks like they've consumed most of the radishes if they were out here. And of course, the winter peas are mostly annihilated by now. As it looks out here, I'm guessing that we still have 2 or 3 days worth of feed before I start feeding pigs their normal grain ration again. However, I'll still leave this field open so that the pigs can eat their turnips and help fill their bellies. One sow farrowed yesterday, and we've got another one that should be farrowing sometime in the next 2 or 3 days. Those I've got locked away, and I'm feeding them full choice grain. But for the other pigs, there's enough forage here for them to eat a full diet's worth of feed for probably another couple days. In terms of cost savings, let's run over those numbers real quick. Now, this is a 4/10 of an acre field. The way that I planted it, it had some sorghum sudan grass and hybrid pearl millet. I just broadcast all these seeds out into this field when I planted it, and then I flail mowed it. It's a no-till way of planting, and it works really well. I don't have the numbers offhand, but I probably spent $20 or so roughly on the seed cost for this field, and then 30 or 40 minutes actually getting it broadcast and planted. So far, I've gotten over $100 worth of feed value out of this field, which doesn't sound like a whole lot compared to the $20 or $30 that I spent getting it seeded. But again, the thing that's really important to me, it's not just the cost savings, but especially for sows, having feed to fill their bellies is really important to me. It helps deal with the hunger pains and gives them full stomachs with slightly less nutritious feed. All total, it looks like I'll save about $120 in total grain costs, which is a little bit low for our typical plantings, but it is what it is. If I'd planted a larger fields of this particular mix, I think I would have gotten a lot more feed value out of it.
One other thing, and I didn't get a whole lot of good footage of it, but we tend to use 2 strands of electric fencing for these pigs. One of these sows last year was jumping over the electric fences, and even though we were giving her grain, she could not get enough grain to just stay full. And so we're just using 1 strand of this poly wire that's stretched across the fence. The perimeter of this field is done with 2 strands of fencing, but the pigs stayed contained with a single strand of fence. I suspect that this was so productive primarily because the pigs were a little bit more full. One thing I probably should have added, about a 1/4 or a 1/5 of the grain ration after a couple days in one paddock. They started eating the less nutritious feeds, but they still performed quite well on the paddock. Overall, I saved about $145 minus about $15 for the seed and about $15 in machinery cost to get it mown in. So I'm real pleased with the results there. Next year, I think I need to add a little bit more surface area of planting. I think I can extend this to 1.5 acres, maybe even 2 acres, and still have enough spring forage available for the pigs. They like their daikon radish over the purple top turnips. I think if I plant earlier in the season, maybe mid to early August, I should get a little bit more growth out of the Austrian winter peas, maybe out of the cereal rye as well. And then the daikon radishes and the others should perform equally as well at that time of the year too. With a little bit more effort, grow more cover crops to feed our pigs, to reduce our feed cost, while also improving the health and the welfare of the pigs on our farms as well. Take care. Have a great day.